Since the dawn of human history, we've been obsessed with people coming out of the sky and visiting us. Aliens. You see it in the stories of the Greek demigods, of the gods themselves, coming out of the sky and interacting with humans. And tonight, Nashville, Tennessee may have had its very own UFO sighting. I'm going to give you all the evidence so that you can decide for yourself what really happened. There's been an official story. You can decide. I'm not saying necessarily it was a cover-up, but I'm saying that there are reasons to have speculation. There's reasons to have doubt. And there's reasons to think that maybe there is a larger story than what we're being told. So I'm going to show you the evidence yourself, everything that I know. I'm going to give you the story beat by beat so that you can decide for yourself what really happened. And maybe you have some insight as to what is really going on in the skies of Nashville, Tennessee. Around 6:20 p.m., I left my dorm hall, walked right out the door, and it was like seeing commotion. A commotion in the streets. I was immediately greeted by my first witness, who showed me a video that he had just taken, probably a minute, maybe a minute or two, judging from the other times that I gathered. It seems that I had walked out my door maybe 1 minute too late. And he showed me this video of the lights falling from the sky, it looked like. It looked like maybe some alien craft, like what do you, let the lights off the front of a car, Maybe possibly like hovering in the sky above. This is, I will go ahead and show you the first video that I was texted, that I received. It showed the light falling from the sky, and then watch how it shows it splitting into 3 parts, and then they each move independently before falling out of view. It definitely appears like there's hovering happening. See for yourself. This full video in higher quality is on Kelly's YouTube page, so I recommend that you go there to support her channel. I'm just going to show clips of it here, but you can watch the full thing there. What's curious about this too is that it's definitely in line with the black triangle formation that is very prevalent in UFOs, UFO sightings, is that you always see that same formation that appears in the video that we have from tonight. You see all of these videos of UFOs in that formation with the 3 lights and a triangle. It's a very popular formation, and there's tons of images of that formation across UFO sightings across so many dates. I'll put pictures here on the video from Google Images of just all the different ways that you can see that formation. And it seems strange that that it looks exactly the same. And take note of how they appear to be one unit before they split apart. So there was the question of it being a meteor. Tonight is the peak of the Leonid meteor shower. So it made perfect sense for that to be the explanation, that maybe it's just a meteor in the sky, maybe the meteor split apart somehow, and then what you saw them each moving, it fell as one unit all together, but then because it split apart, turned into, they each moved their own separate directions. But then you think about, I received this next video which totally debunked that. Because you see in this second video, you see how even while they're moving all together, there's still three separate objects all moving together before they go in different directions. So it wasn't that one thing moved together and then split apart to move in different directions. It was that 3 objects were moving together and then all changed direction. And so from seeing that, I thought instantly, well, maybe it is some kind of alien craft. Maybe this is a UFO. Why would they change direction? But then you also see in the video, the fire trail, and you watch that and you think, well, is it on fire? Then you think, well, maybe it is a meteor. There is the fire trail. It does appear that these objects, it's not just the lights, it's not just it's not just your headlights, it's obviously something on fire. Or the second explanation was it was exhaust flames. It was the alien craft, and what we were seeing wasn't necessarily the craft itself, but the trail of light, of fire, of exhaust trailing behind the craft. And it was around that time that I did some research, because I wanted to know for myself what was the likelihood that these were meteors. And so I looked up it's called the Leonid meteor shower because the meteor stemmed from the constellation of Leo. That's where you would find it. But what happens is I looked up, the UFO object. The lights that we saw falling came from the west. And judging from where I was, the constellation Leo wouldn't even have been visible in the night sky. It would have been to the east and below the planet. Maybe there would have been meteors visible, but they would have been in the opposite direction. The UFO that we saw was on the other side of the sky than what the meteors were supposed to be. And so there went the meteor theory out the window. So knowing this, we had to go around and ask different people if they had seen it, / what they thought about all of it when approached with the evidence. And so from this, we gathered a couple of more videos that we had sent to us, just from going around on the street, finding more witnesses, and I'll show you the next one here.
What the heck is this? What is that? What is that? What is that? What is that?
Whoa!
Those are fireworks.
What is it? Oh my god! Oh my god!
We almost thought it was like, oh, wow.
What?
Clearly something was seen in the Nashville skies tonight, something. And we had a couple ideas as to what, and then we went around and asked other people for their extra opinions.
I think with that, it's possible that it's far enough out where it's not technically in the Earth's atmosphere. We're just seeing it's technically can move in many different directions because there's not gravity. Some sort of anomaly. Well, I mean, technically it would be a UFO because the UFO is an unidentified flight.
We haven't identified it.
But I don't think it's
We think it's a UFO.
I still feel like it should be verified.
I haven't seen that name.
Dude, that's just gonna come over the news. Like,
I know, and then what are you inclined to think it is? Do you say aliens? Do you say military?
okay, two things. One, it's either
It's aliens.
Okay, it's either UFO because I've never seen anything in my life do that. Okay, and
Anything.
I'll tell you, I've seen shit in the sky, mostly airplanes. But I've
Right.
seen shit.
I mean, they do fly.
Two, the thing was hovering there and it split into three. It looked like a firework almost, but it didn't. So
Also, 3 is the most common number for like alien UFO sightings. If you look it up online,
I mean, I'm being dead
No other
serious.
explanation.
Dead serious for the record. Aliens.
No one can think of anything else that it would be besides UFOs. Like we, canceled out all the other options, so that's the only answer left.
Right.
It's aliens.
Right.
the lights just hovered.
No.
The lights just hovered and they move side to side.
How do you
What does
explain
that?
How do you explain?
Unidentified object.
Unidentified.
Guys, Space Force, we're enlisting. I'm going in the Space Force.
I mean, at this point, we need it.
We're being attacked. We're obviously being
Space
invaded
Force.
as we speak. Who knows where the aliens are now?
Oh, okay.
Just how do you explain it just vanishing like that?
Because it burns out. Because it's a meteor.
So you're saying you don't believe in the alien story? I will say, in your defense, we have footage that does show the fire trails. However, it could be assumed that these are exhaust trails. Are you saying that you don't believe that aliens came to Earth tonight?
I don't believe the aliens came to Earth tonight.
Do you believe that aliens have had contact with Earth at all? Do you think that aliens are, in the modern age, the extraterrestrials have visited and are interacting with?
I don't believe extraterrestrials are interacting, but I do believe in an alien life form of some kind.
Do you believe aliens exist?
I believe aliens exist.
But you don't think they've come here?
I think if they were to have come here, they wouldn't have made their presence as known. I believe that they have visited Earth, but didn't make their presence known.
But now they have.
I believe that's a possibility. I don't believe that's happened. I believe it's a possibility. Well, I don't believe that there has been a UFO sighting that has been, proven to be actually, no one knows what it is. Because there was that one that, how they recorded it on the baseball field? It was
Right.
like a UFO.
Yeah, that's fake.
That's fake.
That was in
That
Canada.
was confirmed fake.
Yeah.
And I
You
think,
look at that, that's fake.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
obviously that small.
I don't believe that there's any evidence out right now that proves anything.
Right.
But
But you think what was seen tonight? That wasn't a drone.
no, it wasn't a drone.
Wasn't a drone.
It was a meteor. They were meteors. Or comets of some kind.
Some kind. Tonight is the night of the Leonid meteor shower. And so it's called the Leonid because it stems from the Leo constellation. Now, the meteors, as you call them, UFOs were sighted in the west. Do you know where the Leo constellation is?
I'm gonna guess it's in the east.
It's in the east. It's literally below us as we speak. What's your explanation? We find UFOs on the opposite side.
I mean, how can anyone explain that? There is only one explanation.
The Earth is flat.
We'll take it.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
No. The Earth is not flat. The Earth is a loop.
Now there's the theory that the aliens would take this opportunity to further disguise themselves amongst the comets and the meteors. That the UFOs are able to be more hidden because someone mistakes it for a meteor.
Okay.
What's your thought on that?
It's definitely it's a possibility that could happen, but I highly doubt that. I believe what we saw tonight, as was evident in the video, was it was all one meteor. It was traveling, and then it split off into three, and then they just burned out.
They start off
Okay.
together. This is before they really split, and then they split after this. But this was recorded, and you can see the three separate crafts all traveling together.
So you believe that they are UFOs?
I believe that they are unidentified flying objects.
Which is different than a UFO.
But here you can see them all traveling together before the split.
Okay.
How do you explain that?
That they're just three meteors.
But how do you explain the split after they were traveling? What caused them to split? Because it wasn't one meteor splitting. It was three meteors.
Yes, they just went off
that
in
went
different
divergent.
directions. Because in space,
No one can hear you scream.
One thing that somebody brought up that we interviewed was that Space Force might be needed to take care of this.
Space Force?
Space Force.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on Space Force?
What is your definition of Space Force?
We need a military that is able to traverse space to be able to protect, for national and global security, protect the Earth against extraterrestrial threats.
Who's on board with him for Space Force?
We are.
Before we can, as a planet, start to colonize other planets, we need to have a unified government with all the countries.
Is that communism? Thank you for your time, Kate.
Thank you for your time, Cave.
I feel like it's searchlights.
You think it's searchlights?
From the airport.
Look how bright this is. I've taken photos of searchlights on my phone before, and they've never been this bright.
Could be fireworks too.
I can't
Like,
just
this
see a
is-
meteor.
Have you ever thought that like maybe it's just like somebody's camera is really bad, and like they were photographing the moon, but like the lens is all shattered?
You look at this. You look at these videos, and you say the moon.
I'm just saying that like
Yeah, but
if they were aliens, they would do more than just like show up and be like, all right, this is cool, bye.
it didn't stop in that second video that you showed. They never just stopped and hovered like
But they stopped in the
one.
first video.
Yeah, but they're two completely separate videos of the same.
At the same
anomaly.
time. At the same time, from different points of view. It didn't stop in the second one because it was obscured by the
And
building.
you can also see the fire trail.
You can see the fire trail, which some conclude is an exhaust trail.
Alright. My thoughts are, that's stupid.
You think that's good? You don't believe in aliens?
I mean, like, I think that's like, if aliens were here, they would not be doing that weird shit.
You think they would make themselves known?
I mean, what would humans do? If you say that this is real, then that means that this is the only case that's real and every other case
I'm
is
not saying it,
incorrect.
because there's so many other cases. Are you familiar with, like, this is the black triangle shape, as they
Oh my
call
God.
it. Outside of this tonight, do you believe in aliens at all? Do you believe that there's life outside of our planet?
Not that. I feel like there are aliens, but, you know, like,
not like developed like.
not anywhere close to us.
to,
You
like,
believe that there are unintelligent
you think we're the most advanced species?
No, I'm saying like distance-wise. They're,
Distance-wise,
they're not close to us.
Do you think that there are intelligent aliens that just aren't close enough to know or contact us?
Probably, yeah. Or like maybe they just don't care. Or like they don't have the spaceships to reach here.
Will they ever care? Will humans on Earth ever have contact with aliens?
I mean, give it a couple thousand years probably.
Couple thousand years?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. You should ask Alex Jones.
All right, we'll go to him next. Thank you for your time.
So after all of this investigating, after all of these questions, after all of this thought about it, around 9 o'clock I saw a story that had been posted online, and it showed all of these other videos that other people had taken of the exact same thing that we just saw, the 3 lights. And so of course, you know, we thought, well, that's it, that's what we saw. But then it came up with this story that was attached to it, where it cited that these lights that all these people had seen in the sky as UFOs, and said, despite some speculation that it was activity from the meteor shower, the arrival of aliens, or something more serious, there were no plane crashes, you know, because you think about something on fire falling from the sky, maybe it's some kind of crash, I don't know. And then the article says, it seems likely paratroopers dropping into the Vanderbilt football game were to blame. The paratroopers, outfitted with flares, dropped into Vanderbilt Stadium about the time the burning objects caught the eyes of Nashville skywatchers. And then it says reports of burning objects falling from the sky first started coming in shortly before 6:30, which is in line with the time frame that it's consistent with what I had found out. The first video I received, I had been texted at 6:37. And then of course that was after talking about it and watching the skies for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. So I don't have an exact number for the first report that I saw, but it's obvious that this article is talking about the same event. And it shows pictures and videos, everyone seeing the exact same thing we saw. But there's a couple of things about this explanation that didn't add up to me at first. And so I wondered, you know, whether it was safe for these flares to be attached to the paratroopers. That seemed odd to me. But also, just from that first video we saw, it appeared to hover, and then one moved back up. And so I wondered, you know, so these paratroopers all come down together before they split apart and sure, I don't know exactly what mechanisms that they're using to do this, so sure. But then after they keep falling, they slow down, which is normal, but then they stop moving, and one even moves back up. And that still seems strange to me. You know, how is it that one moves back up? And I don't know enough to really dispute that or say that that's an inconsistency or something. So it's possible that maybe that's something that's explainable. But it still seems a bit odd to me. It should be noted that the article cites several tweets. One is the Nashville severe weather Twitter, which of course someone sent in a video and says, what is this? And their Twitter says, several have asked us, we don't know what this is. The Nashville severe weather Twitter page didn't know what it was. And the only reason that this article even has the paratrooper story is from the Vanderbilt Athletics Twitter page. Without supplying any extra evidence, any extra photos from the event, the Vanderbilt Athletics Twitter page says, no UFO in Nashville, just our amazing military. And that's the only source for that story as of this point. There aren't any photos from the event, no other evidence to suggest that it really is the paratrooper story. That still seems a bit odd, a bit unsafe, a bit unrealistic, and just the fact that it's the one source. You wonder, you know, is that just a quick pull, you know, cover up that someone's just trying to pull over all of our heads? You wonder. It's just a quick, easy explanation so that nobody else worries about it, and maybe we'll just forget about it tomorrow. Now, to be fair, of course, I looked up other videos of parachute flares, you know, and people falling down with flares attached, and it does appear very similar to what we saw in Nashville. And that would even explain how some of the lights even go out or disappear. It's not necessarily that the UFO craft was turning off their lights or putting their cloaker back on or something, but it's that the flare goes out, you know, as is apt to do on a cold winter night, as is this. Watch for yourself how similar these parachute flares appear. So we have these explanations, and it, you know, maybe it makes enough sense for, you know, for you. Maybe I still have a couple more questions, and it just seems a bit curious how there's not a lot of evidence for tonight. You know, I've seen videos from other times of other dates about these parachute flares, but you know, there's no evidence from the Vanderbilt football game for what happened tonight. No photos, no videos of that event happening. There's just the story, there's just the words, there's one sentence from the Vanderbilt Athletics Twitter page, and that's it. That's all we have. It's one source. And you wonder, with all these conflicting theories between the meteor shower, between UFOs, between the parachute flares, I think the idea was that maybe the cover-up would work for the meteor shower before people figured it out that wasn't it. It's too close. It's definitely within our atmosphere. Maybe something fell to Earth, but maybe, obviously that's too close, and they just the way that they move, I think that just doesn't, it doesn't look like a parachute to me. Of course, while I want to believe the explanation, of course, part of me does want to just think, well, okay, well, maybe I'm thinking too much about this. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. It's just the paratroopers. But you think about the Black Triangle formation. You think about that is what every UFO sighting looks like, so maybe it is just the paratroopers. But you think, then is that true with every other Black Triangle UFO sighting? Is every other UFO sighting just parachutes with flares attached? Is that all they are? Every other sighting can't be that. Every other sighting isn't happening in the middle of a football stadium, in the middle, for a halftime show. That can't happen at every other sighting. Decide for yourself. Leave a comment down below telling me what you think it is, if you have any insight as to maybe what really happened tonight. If not, that's all the evidence I have. There's just enough things that just keep me wondering. And maybe this is something we'll never really know the truth about. Stay smart, stay smarter than me. See y'all in the next video.